Going on Fun Figure Reviews, welcome back to the channel, and this is not a figure review. Today I'm here with the first video of its kind on the channel, which is called a versus battle comparison. I don't think I've seen it ever on YouTube, or I don't think I've seen anyone else do it. Basically, it's a comparison with stop motion versus battles in between of the figures I'm comparing. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. It's going to look really cool. My wife came up with the idea while we were sitting on the couch, and I thought this would be a great way to do this comparison for today. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to the 5 categories, and each category is worth 2 points. Of course, figures get 1 point even if they lose, but you get what I mean. As long as they somewhat pull something off in the category anyway. First one up is box presentation, right? Like, how well does the box look? Is it collector friendly? Is it a card back? Like, you get what I mean. Next one up is not accessories. Next one up is how well does the figure look, like aesthetics wise, and accuracy, which basically means how well does it look to its source material. These are both McFarlane looking action figures. Marvel Legends didn't exactly say this was a McFarlane figure, but they were basically saying this was the Spider-Man we've all been waiting for, right? Like, they're basically hinting to McFarlane at that point. Next category up is accessories. And I'm not judging it on how many. I'm judging it more so on how well the accessories pull off what they need to pull off, and how much they complement the figure. Right. Next one up is articulation, which has its own point system, but I'll talk about that in the actual articulation portion of that criteria. And the last criteria is price point, right? How good are these figures for their price point, and are they worth it? Those are the 5 criteria. As I stated, each one is worth 2 points. Of course, each figure can get 1 point. You know, that's still on the table. With that being said, let's get on to the video. First one up is box. All right, first up we have box, right? And so let's take these 2 figures aside and take a quick look at the box. All right, and first up, let's look at Mafex first. So right off the bat, this is very collector friendly. It's very small and compact to other Mafex boxes. Do I have any around here? No. All right, I don't really want to take any off my shelf either, but it's much more smaller and a little taller than the normal Mafex box. But as you can see, it looks really nice. Nice product shot of the figure, the Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Mafex, Metacom. Nice art of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man up there. Right, there they are. Nice promo shots. It looks very nice all around. Like, it's very inviting. It pops. It just catches the eye nicely. Right, so it definitely is great. You know, I expect nothing less from Mafex in general with their boxes. Next, we have the Marvel Legends Maximum Series box, right over here. And right off the bat, I like this already because it has windows, so it's very collector friendly. You can see what's in there. All right, no one's taking anything from this because this, right? Like, it's very collector friendly, absolutely. Nice product shots of the figure. I like the comic book panels they put in there. The nice Maximum Series logo looks very nice. Another product shot of the figure. One thing I don't get is it's not completely accurate to how the figure actually looks. There's a peg hole right there, if you can see on the actual figure. So I do think I will be deducting a point from this figure's box. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but I would rather the boxes of the figures be accurate to what you're actually getting than lie to you like that, because peg holes, little hole right there, that's not accurate at all, and I feel like that's deception at best. So, yep. So right off the bat, Mafex wins that for 2 points, and Maximum Series gets 1 point, only because the box itself is not bad. It's just this one little thing does gripe me, and I would rather have honesty than a lie, right? Next up will be aesthetics So what I mean is how the figure looks. Does it catch your eye? Do you immediately want to go grab it and move it and mess around with it? And right off the bat, I'm going to be honest. Yes, both figures do catch my eye to a degree, but I'm going to be honest, the Mafex one catches it more. And this is mostly because that lighter blue, I don't know, it just does something for me. It just makes me really want to just pick it up and, you know, kind of move it around, you know, see what it can do. So, you know, so that would be 1 point for the aesthetics right there. But in terms of accuracy, who's winning this, right? Like, who looks more like Todd McFarlane? And I'm going to go with Maximum Series. The reason being is the blue is much more accurate and the tone of red is also more accurate. Of course, it could have benefited from a matte finish to make it a little less shiny, but the tone of the red is more accurate to the comic book art, I believe. Now, this is just me, and it is my own personal opinion, but even the logo looks more like what's on this Mafex box. Let me get you out of here. All right, the logo here looks more like what's on this Mafex box right there, and I'm going to be honest, this one, its spider logo does not even look close. So I'm going to go with this one in terms of accuracy. So for this round, they both get 1 point each. So, yeah. All right, there you go. Don't move. All right, on to the next category. That'll be accessories. Let me jump right to that. All right, everyone, and now for the accessories portion. Actually, let me get the camera more even. There we go. And so, as you're going to see, Maximum Series obviously has more accessories, but I'm still going to compare them alongside each other real quick. So, they both come with Dwippers, right? Marvel Legends, Mafex. But, the Maximum Series also comes with Dwippers that have the web pieces attached to them, which is slightly unique, as you can see, than this. So it's very interesting. I do think it adds more playability to the figure itself, like it gives you more options. You know, I do think so. But, you know, it's so cool. They both come with alternate head sculpts, as you can see. Mafex, Marvel Legends over here. Look at this one over here, right? There we go. As you can see. I do think the Mafex Spider-Man sculpt looks better, but I do have to admit, this one feels like it has more pearlescent white in the eyes, which is nice. I'm not gonna lie, but this one, you know, definitely I think looks a little better. This one comes with this, right? The web shooter effects, like the nerdy web shooter effects. It's all right. I mean, like, I really wish these were posable. I mean, come on, Hasbro. Marvel Legends has the spider sense. Mafex does not. Web accessories. Marvel Legends actually weirdly comes with, I think, less web accessories, but more versatility, weirdly. I don't count these because Marvel Legends missed out big time to put a wire inside here, because they definitely could have. I guarantee you at least wrap a wire around here to make it posable, but no, they didn't. You know, that would have been the first time anyone has ever done that with a figure that's an actual figure company, I think. So if I'm wrong, correct me, but it would have been nice if you're trying to make a competitor. This would have been a very big selling point. All right. You know, but they both have their kind of web slinging effects. I do think Mafex does it better. I don't like this kind of hollow, transparent white. Obviously, this piece, I do think Marvel Legends kind of takes the edge just because of how big it is. I just wish it was in this white from Mafex. I think that would be more comic accurate, but still, It looks very, very nice. But other than that, they don't really have any web shooting effects aside from these. I don't count this. I don't even know what this is supposed to be aside from maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm trying to think of something that this could be, and I just don't know. This was a dumb inclusion by Marvel Legends. I really think so. Web Shield, Mafex doesn't have that. But what Mafex doesn't have, they make up for their web shooting effects, which I do think are great. All right, they got 2 long ones. They got 2 short ones, which can be very versatile when posing, right? So honestly, well, Mafex has a little less. I think all of its accessories execute things better than the Marvel Legends. So for that, I will give them each a point. It isn't a matter of who comes with more accessories. It's a matter of whose accessories actually executes what they're supposed to do better. And in this case, I think Mafex does it better. The only reason it's getting a little bit, it's not getting 2 points is because it does come with less, and I do have to deduct a point. And the only reason he's getting a point is because some of his stuff is well done better than Mafex. Like the twipping hands, I do think this is pretty cool. I do think this is a pretty cool idea. It's very, I do know that Mondo does it, but I don't think any other figure company other than Mondo does that kind of web effect. So I do think that's interesting, and this definitely does have things that are better than the Mafex, especially this. So for that, I will give it a point too. So overall, this is a tied round. Now on to articulation. Hey everyone, welcome to the articulation comparison portion of this video, and I will be comparing it on 14 points of articulation that I look for in any figure I get, regardless of its price range, right? So the first one up is head movement. That means how well does a head move without the neck joint being included. The next one is neck joint, right? How well does the neck joint move, right? Is it functional at all, or is it just there just to be there? Butterfly joints, right? That's the next one. There are bicep swivels, right? Like how well is a bicep swivel working? Is it hindered by anything? That's mostly for Transformers, but you never know. Elbow joint, are they double jointed? Are they single jointed? How far is their range? You know, like what can you do with it? Obviously wrist rotation. For this one, this will also be considered as wrist rotation, but I really mean this, right? Ab crunch, right? Like how well does the ab crunch? What is the waist rotation, right? Can it move up and down? Can it wiggle left or right, right? Like what can it do? Leg movement. All that basically means is how far can they spread, how far can they kick back and forward. That's basically it. Thigh swivel, you know. Knee joint, are they double jointed? Are they single jointed, right? Do they have a hinge? Like what is up? Ankle rocker, I do look for that because it can make a figure very posable. Foot movement, can it go up, down, you know? And what's the range pretty much, and how well does it succeed? And toe joint, right, which they both have. These are the 14 points of articulation that I look for in a figure whenever I get any figure, regardless of how expensive or how cheap it is, right? Now, that being said, let's get on with the video, or the articulation comparison. And the first one up is head movement. So first up, we're going to be doing the Mafex, and it can move its head up about that much without the neck joint. It can move it about that far down. Yeah. It can go a little bit side to side before interfering with the neck joint. So that's pretty good. That's really, really good for Mafex. Now let's go over to Marvel Legends. It can go up about this far, mostly because it has that little hinge in there, which definitely helps. And as you can see, compared to the Mafex, It's about, it's a little better actually. So I will give it to that. When it comes to downward looking movement, right? I do think they both have about the same amount of range. Oh no, he actually has a little better range in there. So that's not bad. And now side to side movement, if he wants to stand at all, right? That's how much he tilts to the side, assuming he just wants to stop going down, right? And that's for him. Obviously, Mafex wins that by a lot. So I do think for head movement, Mafex gets 1 point because it does have some things better, but overall, I do think the Marvel Legends has a little bit more when it comes to up and down. So I will be giving it 2, right? Because Mafex only got 1 out of that criteria, and it's not like it was bad at the others, it's just Marvel Legends did do better overall. So that'll be 2 points for Marvel Legends when it comes to head movement, right? Next one up will be neck joint, right? So let's see how well the neck joint works for the Marvel Legends. It goes about that much down, right? That's kind of lackluster, I'm not going to lie. Now let's see the Mafex. Right off the bat, Mafex is immediately doing better. I mean, like, let's see side to side. All right. Let's see. Mafex, yeah. Mafex definitely wins this round, so 2 points for Mafex, 1 point for Marvel Legends. All right, straighten them out. Next one up is butterfly joints. How well do they work? So he can bring his about that far forward, which is pretty good. And he can bring his about that much forward, but he can't do that without being like this. So I don't know. I don't like, it's kind of pluses or minuses because they can kind of get the same range when it comes to this, right? Like they can definitely cross their arms, right? Like so, as you can see. I just think the Marvel Legends has a little more range when it comes to forward movement, as you can see. A little bit more range, but not by much. Not enough to give it 2, but let's see how much they can do backwards, right? That's the Marvel Legends, and that's really, really good right off the bat. I'm not going to lie, right? As much as I love Mafex, I do want to be honest with this comparison, right? And I don't know. I do think the Marvel Legends takes this. Mafex will get 1 point just because it did put in a good effort, but Marvel Legends does do its butterfly joints slightly better than Mafex, for sure, for this Maximum Series Spider-Man. So, 2 points for Mafex, 1 point for Marvel Legends. Yeah. Next up, we got, let's see what the next one is. Bicep Swivel. So, right off the bat, he can move his arm, right? Move his arm up. Bicep Swivel here, right? And it works pretty good. Although it is very tight, and it's mostly because of this plastic. It's kind of gummy. So I don't like that, right? You see that, guys? Ugh. Like, the bicep swivel works well, and so does the arm joint, but it's just so gummy that I can't give it 2 points. He can bring his arm up, bicep swivel in there, yeah, and it's not gummy at all. So Mafex is getting 2 points for this, right? And Marvel Legends is getting 1. So far, they're kind of evenly tied. Both have 2s, both have 1s. Elbow joints, right? They both have double jointed elbows, but I do think the Marvel Legends gets more range out of his, as you can see. Overall, I do think he gets more range. So I will be giving it to Marvel Legends for that. He'll be getting 2. Mafex gets 1, right? And wrist rotation. Now, I will be counting this too. And obviously this Marvel Legends is going to win this because universal wrist joint goes up and down with the hinge joint in there, which is pretty good. And then you got this, right? This is really good. This can definitely help with a lot of poses. So he's obviously winning that. And because Mafex doesn't have it, it's kind of more or less a default win. But we're still going to check out Mafex, right? Because we're trying to be fair in this review. Right, universal joint goes up, goes down, right? You can twist it to get it like this, or you can twist it to get it like this. You can go up and down like that, up and down like that. So he's getting 1 point only because he doesn't have that arm movement that Marvel Legends has. All right. And our next one is ab crunch. So, I mean this, right? Like this one right here. So let's see how far this one goes. That's about it, right? That's about as far as it wants to go. Right, now let's see the Mafex. And I do think Mafex wins this for sure. Let's see how far back. All right. They both look like they got beer guts. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of funny. Yeah, I think Mafex wins this for sure. Yeah. So, 2 points for Mafex, 1 point for Marvel Legends. Waist rotation. Basically, can it go up? Can it go down? Right? You got this, but it can go really left or right. So we'll be judging it on this. Right? We won't be including this at all. So let's see. Who has more range? So far, it looks like Marvel Legends in terms of its downward movement. Now let's see, backwards movement. Of course, we'll also be comparing side-to-side movement, and if it can actually swivel in any way. And Marvel Legends wins the backward movement too. Now, can it go side-to-side for Marvel Legends? No. Right? But he can definitely go to side-to-side, right? And a little bit of twist in there. So I'm going to be honest, I think they're both tied on this portion. They both get 1 point. For sure. Next one up is leg movement. So let's look at the Mafex. He can bring his leg out about that much. He does have a drop down hinge, obviously. But even with the drop down hinge, it only goes out about this much further. So, you know, it's kind of what it is. Now let's see the Marvel Legends. And he has a drop down hinge too. And I do think the Marvel Legends has more range in his leg going forward. Let's see from the side. All right. I think they have about the same range. Yeah, they have about the same range going to the side. Going back, let's see. That's hit as much as he can go backwards. Let's see, Marvel Legends over here. So, about the same too. So, Marvel Legends will be getting 2 points just because he executes his drop down hinge and leg movement better than the Mafex. So, yeah. Now we got a thigh swivel. Obviously, he's going to win this because he has one. Mafex has a sort of thigh swivel, right? So They both have one, but in terms of who executed it better, I don't know. Because I don't like this one too much because it breaks up the sculpt, and I don't like this one because, well, you can see the interior, so I'm going to give them both 1 point. I don't like the way they execute it, although I do think Mafex does it slightly better. So, 2 points for Mafex. Yeah, 2 points. Because while I don't like how they're both executed, Mafex does do it slightly better, and I can't really argue against that. Now for their knee joints, they both have double jointed knees, as you can see. Right? There you go. And let me get him over here. And I'm going to be honest, Marvel Legends does look to be executing it a little bit better than Mafex. Right? Yeah. Because his foot can actually hit his bottom. And Mafex can't really do that. So I will be giving it to Marvel Legends for that. So 1 point for Mafex, 2 points for Marvel Legends. Ankle rockers. Alright, so this is a fun one. Mafex does have an ankle rocker. It bends about that much, as you can see. And Marvel Legends does too, but it does execute it slightly better. So, yeah. 1 point for Mafex. 1 point and 2 points for Marvel Legends. Now, for its toe joint, right? Or, wait, did I do foot movement? Oh, I'm on foot movement now. So, Marvel Legends can go that far forward and that far back. Right, so let's see how they do. There we go. Mafex wins the backwards portion. And let's see about this. Mafex also wins this. Also, it can go all the way around, as you can see. Marvel Legends can't or can do that, but it's more like rubbery, as you can see. Like I'm trying, but it doesn't really get executed too well. So, you know, Mafex wins this for sure. Marvel Legends gets a point. Now, toe joint. This one's a little weird because they both have it and they both execute it very well. Mafex does it really, really well. Marvel Legends does too, but the only problem I have with Marvel Legends is this. You can see that? Like with Mafex, it looks smoother. In Marvel Legends, it has this. And while you do get more range out of that toe joint, I do feel it just looks weird in certain angles. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know who really wins this, but I'll just give them both ones. Because, well, technically he executes it better. The way it's executed, I don't exactly like. See that? I don't like that. Like, I can even compare it to some other figures I have with me right now. Right? His toe joint, look how smooth that is. Why couldn't they just do that for him too? Right? Why do they have to give him this big blocky piece? I don't like that. You know? So, yeah, I'll give them both a 1. Yeah. Alright, and now with that being done, let me tally up all the points for articulation, and I'll tell you who wins. Alright, I'm back, and the winner of this round by 1 point. I'd like to clarify that, by 1 point. And that's only because if I didn't count that, Mafex probably would have won that round. But I do feel like I have to, since I said wrist rotation, and this is technically an arm. Maybe I was wrong. But still, I'll go with the score I have now. Marvel Legends Maximum Series has 19 points for the articulation portion, and he has 18. He wins by a literal point. So take that what you will, but still, Marvel Legends wins this round. Now let's move on to the next portion, price. Everyone, welcome to the price category. And for price, this one is, when I got it, was going for about $80. US, and this is about $50. I got it on Amazon and pre-ordered it. So for their price, I do think Mafex is a little bit more justified, and you may be wondering, well, why? One, these are sculpted on web lines. They're indented in there, right? So there's no way to actually reuse this same body mold, right? No, of course you can for figures like Webman, which they have done, but like if you're doing a Ben Reilly figure, you can't do that with these web lines. So they would have to have slightly different sculpt for the figure. Also, the figure, the plastic it's made out of feels more premium. I just can't help but stress how premium this figure feels, from the accessories to the magnet hands to the feel of the plastic, right? Like at no point in this review have I ever had issues like that where he's falling over. Keep in mind that these leg joints aren't loose because of extensive use. They were loose from the moment I got it out of the box. They were like this, right? Which is not good. Which is not good at all, you know. And Marvel Legends is doing good. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely a step up for them. But for its prices, you know, like I have issues with the plastic. One, why the hell is that happening, right? When I compare that to my Mafex, right? You see how seamless that is? With this, I actually have to have one finger here to move it up. I shouldn't have to do that, right? Especially for a figure that's supposed to be like import quality. Now, this arm does move a little better, but I have to do a little bit more force, right? And I don't like that. Also, look at this. This is very gummy, right? Like, I don't have that issue with my Mafex. You see it going back into place? No, right? So, I'm going to be honest. While this figure is doing good, in my opinion, it's not worth 50 bucks. So for price point, I do think Mafex takes this. Marvel Legends is still getting a point only because it put up a good fight throughout the rest of the rounds. Like, it put up a very good fight. I did not think it was going to win Articulation, and it did, right? It did very well for Articulation. So I'm going to be honest, though, for its price, I don't feel like it's worth it, and it's simply because of the plastic they use and how gummy the joints are. I have QC issues. Look at that on the eyes. Some of the paint is slightly over. Like, that shouldn't be a real thing, right? I should not have issues with my figure where I'm scared to move its arm or its waist joint, right? Like that. But Mafex doesn't have any of these problems, and don't get me wrong, Mafex does have its fair share. I have had figures from Mafex that have been absolute dog shit. But I'm going to be honest, this figure does deserve its $80 price point from when I got it. Now, I don't know what it's exactly retailing for now, but I can only speak for the price I got it at, which is about 80 bucks. Right? And for 50 bucks, this doesn't hold up, in my opinion. So, Mafex definitely wins this round. Now, let me tell you about my conclusion. Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is the conclusion. So, overall, Mafex got 7 points out of the 5 criteria right, and Marvel Legends got 6 points out of the 5 criteria right. Keep in mind, each figure could have got a 10. And Mafex only wins by 1 point. And the reason it wins by 1 point is simply because Marvel Legends falls short on price. At everything else, it's great at, right? Like, it does great at. But at price, it just does not hold up the same, unfortunately. So, you know, I hate to say it, but for its price point, it's not good. And I can tell you that now in person as having this figure. I've had this figure for about a week now, and I can honestly say it doesn't live up to its price point, right? Like, it's a good figure. I'm not saying it's not. It's just for 50 bucks, it could really be better. And Mafex is that better. The plastic quality is amazing. The articulation is great. It feels buttery smooth. I never at any time have to worry about my Mafex being gummy, right, and feeling like I'm about to break it. You know, it's just not for the price point. They're not really too comparable. But the reason I decided to compare them is because Marvel Legends is offering this as a contender for imports, right? Like it's supposed to be import priced, right? Like it's $50 figure. It's basically import prices. They need to be able to compete with import quality, and it really doesn't. The plastic needs to change. One, it just doesn't work at all. It just doesn't feel good to hold. It doesn't feel good to handle. It feels like your everyday Marvel Legends with slightly better articulation and more accessories, right? And it shouldn't. It should feel more premium than a Marvel Legends. You shouldn't even think it's a Marvel Legends. You should think it's a whole new line, but it's actually Marvel Legends, right? But yeah, overall, in conclusion, I do think this was a well-deserved victory by Mafex, and it's sad that the Marvel Legends fall short because of its price point. I would have loved for it to be affordable, you know, to be a more affordable version of the Mafex, but unfortunately, it's really not, you know. But hey, I would like to hear you guys' opinion. Do you think I was right in my comparison? Do you think I was wrong in saying which one won? I'm just going based off the points in my own personal opinion, and Mafex won. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, do you think I should keep making videos, comparison videos like this, versus comparisons anyway? If so, leave me a like and give me a comment. Tell me what you liked about a video. I would love to hear what you guys think. Anyway, have a great rest of your day. See you.